What's up, people? We're going to be addressing an issue with the STI, similar to what Jake was doing the other day where we changed his fuel pump and stuff like that. Today, we're going to be addressing Cory's fuel pump situation. So him and I did his fuel pump, what, like a year and a half ago about?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago. I want to say in August, it'll be 2 years. We did an AEM fuel pump in that car, similar to the one that Jake just put in his car. And when we did that, one of the studs that holds the top cap of his basket,
Quite a few studs, actually.
yeah, quite a few of them, snapped off. So he gets a lot of fumes, a lot of like smells of fuel. And if the fuel is topped up, it actually seeps over and leaks out of the tank. So we're going to try to address it today however we can. And if we can't, his buddy Chris is going to take a look at it and see if he can help it out. So let's get started. All right, so a few things that you're gonna need to do on the GR chassis, as well as like most of the Subarus that you're gonna work with, is going to be taking this rear seat out. Just normally the bottom piece. Sometimes the rear needs to come out as well, depending on your generation of vehicle. But for this specific car, we're just gonna remove the seat, and underneath it is gonna be an access panel. Cory's already taken the liberty of loosening it up, so we'll show you what it looks like under here.
So on these, you're gonna have a few clips. You know, this car is an 08, so this is pretty loose. Well, I shouldn't say loose, but the clips aren't brand new and they can be wiggled pretty freely. That's a double-edged sword because on some, you're gonna have some that come off easy and some that are gonna be stuck on there because of all those, you know, booty cheese that your passengers have put in there. You're just gonna pull up on the sides. They should just pull up. And then in the center, there's gonna be a little push tab. It's gonna look like a white connector that you're gonna pull the tab on and then you can pull it up. I don't know if this one originally had a bolt in the center, but if yours doesn't come up freely, look for a bolt in the center of the seat crease and you'll probably find one.
Yeah, and also when I was working with GD chassis vehicles, as opposed to having the pull tab that he's referring to, and also the SF and SG Foresters have this as well. There are two like U-shaped little mounts that go towards the bottom of the footwell, and those are held on with 12mm bolts. Sometimes you need to take those out, and then that's how you get the seat out, but we'll show you what it looks like under here now.
You can show the people this.
Yeah, so
with this guy, naturally this would stay in the car, but you would pull this down and it's supposed to just come out.
Isn't there a tab that you're missing on there?
Yeah.
There's a pull tab right here that he's missing.
So yeah, it's okay if you pull this whole thing out. Mine is probably stuck on there, but once you get it out, it'll go easily back in. Doesn't matter if you pull it out or not.
This right here, if you guys are taking a look, right? So this U shape right here is what I was referring to. Most of the GD seats are going to be in the front, and these will be bolted into the footwells with 12mm bolts. But enough talking.
I don't see any bolts on the backside, so there's probably not going to be any bolts.
Yeah, there's typically never any bolts in the backside of the seat unless you have like a pickup truck or something like that. But enough talking. Let's get to work. So what do you got in your hands there, bud?
So it looks like either I was lazy or we were lazy the last time, and I just left the old studs here. This is what your studs are going to look like, especially if you have an old car. They're going to be super rusty. Do not use a power tool when you pull these nuts off. You know, put some penetrating fluid on it. I've heard, obviously you can use any of the typical stuff, but I've heard that transmission fluid and acetone work the best. Don't use a power tool because you'll snap your studs.
I just want to mention real quick, I don't think that we were lazy. I think we left there on purpose.
Oh, maybe. This you can use power tools on, it's fine.
Yeah, it's 4 Phillips.
On these GR chassis, they were nice enough to give you an access panel right in the center floor. That way you don't have to pull, you know, the rear seats or anything. I appreciate that, Subaru, if you're watching. Mine is a little sticky, and I can smell fuel.
Oh, man, yeah, you're missing 2 studs.
You want to get a light for me?
Yeah, I'll get you a spotlight.
I actually see a little bit of a mouse nest over here.
That's to be expected. The car sits more than it drives. No offense.
Emotional, damn it!
That's fine. But yeah, I see a little bit of a mouse nest right here. I don't see it wet around the tank. Like, I can smell fuel, but yeah, I think I see rat shit too. But yeah, there's definitely a mouse nest right up at the top over here.
Note to self, people, if your car is sitting around for a while, rodents of any kind will want to climb into anything warm. And typically that's going to be like the small crevices of your car and stuff like that, or There have been histories of animals climbing into engine bays after you stop your car in the winter. It's just to be expected. It comes with the territory. They're just trying to survive. I get it. Very massively annoying, and I'm sure Cory will address it.
Oh yeah, very annoying. Part of me wants to put a little bit of, what was it? I forget what they hate, but there's a liquid that you can put on top of stuff, so might do that over here. I have a buddy that can get me a gas tank cheap if there's other parts of the tank that are messed up. The thing with fuel is that it dries quickly, so I can't tell if there's been any seepage and then drying. I don't see any stains or anything like that. This tank is very dirty. It's not a very large mouse house though, so I think I can just pull this off. I don't see any chewing on the wires, which is good.
Yeah, that's typically what you're mostly worried about, people, is just when rodents get into your stuff, they will do some damage to wires. I've had in the past from somebody I knew that needed a full rewire of their motorcycle because somebody or something rather got in there and chewed through all of their main harness wires. So I respliced and rewired all of the main wires, and mind you, on a Harley Davidson they're all red. Every wire is red, so just had that done. But that's the biggest downfall of these kind of circumstances.
So I have an even worse story than that. Right now in my buddy's shop there's a Lotus Elise. It's got maybe 20,000 miles on it, and insurance just approved my buddy to basically replace every wire inside the car because the mouse ate at the rear harness in a few different spots of the car. So rodents can be really bad. I don't know what I want to do here.
I think we need to, well, you were going to try to replace the gasket, right?
At first I wanted to, but now I really want to get this on a lift and see what's leaking, because it doesn't look like much is leaking over here. Not only that, but it's a shallow hole, and like this sits in at the top of the tank, and there's a bevel all around it, so there's no way it's leaking down from here.
It definitely is.
If you look, you can see the bevel.
Yeah, I know, but
Like, I think there might be fumes from here, but I don't think it's leaking liquid. There's no way that it's cooling up enough to go up and over the bevel.
well, the problem that I'm looking at is not necessarily the bevel that it's going up and over. It's the fact that two of your studs are snapped on the same side, which means that one side, if we're looking at a panel, right?
Yeah.
If this corner right here is fully bolted down,
Yeah.
this side is going to naturally lift,
Yeah.
even if it's a little bit.
agree.
So those two points in which we don't have any bolts on, those are going to be your main problems. I would argue that if it's leaking from this side, which would be the side closest to your return lines or potentially your feed lines. That's the side that I would imagine it's leaking from. I mean, just from me, myself, I can lift this entire locking ring. I can lift that up myself. I'm seeing movement right on it.
Okay.
So if
Yeah,
it's
I think
leaking, it's coming from that side.
I think the fumes might be coming from there, but I don't think liquid's coming out.
What rat's nest are you talking about,
I already
brother?
pulled it out.
Oh, okay.
It's right here.
Oh, bud. They didn't even form a nest. They were like, yo, this is too tight, homie, I'm leaving. Yeah, this is basically what we're getting in here for today, people. We're just trying to see what's going on and assessing the situation because it has been almost 2 years since we were in here. This puts things into better perspective for sure.
Okay, so here's my plan of attack. So my buddy Chris, he has a shop with a lift in it. You know, God bless him. God bless anybody who has a lift and has the money to get one. Shout out to you guys. And if you're watching this channel, you're probably an established mechanic at this point, so we appreciate you taking a look. My plan is to get it up on the lift. I have a few options. My buddy has a smoke tester, and I can smoke test the whole fuel system. We have one over here, but I'd much rather have it on a lift so that I can see where it's coming from. I'm a big guy, and getting on the floor kind of sucks.
But couldn't we theoretically smoke test it and check to see if there's any leaks on the inside since we have the equipment here?
We could. The thing is, though, if we have a leak underneath, like going from one tank half to another, and it's just smoking underneath the car, we're not going to know where it is.
We'd see the smoke.
Yeah, but we'd see the smoke in the middle.
Okay. I mean,
What my plan of attack is obviously get it up in the air. If I can see anything, great. Could be splitting at one of the seams of the tank. I want to say that these are plastic tanks, so it could have a crack in it.
tap it. Take a screwdriver and tap onto it. Do you want this flashlight to tap on it?
That feels like metal.
Feels like metal.
Yeah. So I know that sometimes there's a two-part tank where like they'll have a giant hole and then fill in part of the hole with plastic, or they'll have and they'll fill part of the hole with metal so that you can mount your sender to it. I'm not too sure on how these are built. I know that on like older cars there's metal tanks, on some cars there's plastic tanks.
So these are what we consider, so like for my knowledge of this stuff is that these are built kind of like a saddle style tank. So you have the arch for where your trans tunnel is, and then you have the tank that sits on both sides, and then the fuel is picked up from majority one side of that tank, but it doesn't have a divider in any way from my knowledge of this kind of setup. And if we were to pull the fuel basket out of it, you could see clearly to the other side as well. So
I want to say that there's a line on each side so that it can pull fuel evenly.
it doesn't.
No,
because your fuel pump is only on one side.
No, I know, but there's a fuel line like on the top of the on the sender that goes to the other side of the tank.
It's not a line in which you would think had pressure in it.
Anyway.
But anyhow.
I'm gonna get this on a lift. I'm gonna do a proper diag. If I have to get a new tank, it is what it is. I might even drop the tank so that I can take a look at wiring or something like that, just because my buddy has the tools to do it. But yeah, this is all it takes to do diag. If you at home wanted to, get into it and diag this yourself, you could grab yourself a smoke tester and pull off your lines and smoke test it or pressure test it if you want. You could jack up the car and pretty much do everything I'm about to do. It's just that I'm a bigger guy and I prefer using the lift at my buddy's house.
And I'll show you guys too. So right over here on my side, I bought this on Amazon. I think it was like $120. So this right here is my smoke tester, right? It runs on baby oil, hence why I have baby oil sitting right there.
Nights inside here.
What was that?
So that's not for the long nights inside.
It's not for the long nights. I mean, although our cars tend to, F us pretty good, this isn't for it. But yeah, no, this works off of our compressor. We have a compressor and we'll just hook up an air line onto here. It pushes the air through the system. There's a bleeder right here to allow more or less oil to go through. And then what it does is just basically oil has a very low smoking point. So you just let this machine do its job. It heats up the oil and then it makes it into a smoke signal and you just throw it into your car. I'll include a clip. I don't know if I have the clip anymore. I'll include a clip of me trying to do a smoke test on the Baja back in the day. And if I have it, I'll put it in. If not, sorry. I think for today, we're pretty much where we're going to stop, right?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Not a huge thorough video, but I hope this at least helps you pull the seat out and get you an idea of what it looks like down there if you're doing like a fuel pump install or something like that.
We were going to make this in combination with the other video that you guys will see about Jake's 92X fuel pump. Given the length of this, and we kind of just kept it a little bit more raw, we'll just turn this into its own video. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Cory appreciates you guys tuning in, I'm sure. And we'll look forward to the next video that we can put out for you guys. I think...
Go give your mom a hug.
Give your mama a hug. Mother's Day's coming up, people. Come on. Right now, the projects that we have in the garage are very, very minimal. The Saab is nearing the end. We're waiting on like a couple of things, and we're actively working on that car in the background. It's just a lot of the stuff that we're doing is pretty tedious. It's pretty like tough work to record, but we are trying our best to get you guys all the information that we can. And when that video goes up, I'm sure you guys will learn a lot more of what we've been doing for these past couple of weeks. So for now, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.